Hello, Conscious Community Facebook group. I hope we're all doing well. Just going to give it a couple moments for everybody to be notified that we're on, we're live, and then I'll go ahead and get it started. I hope that this day is meeting you well and that we're enjoying getting the rain and some cooler weather here. Awesome. Hey, Jen. Good morning. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so we're getting notified. How are y'all doing? Today is the first day I actually kind of did something with my hair and all of that since my dog passed away. So it's good, you know? I finally danced and did some yoga and just felt feeling good, feeling really good. I'm feeling really grateful for that. So I hope you guys are all doing okay. All right, awesome. So let's go ahead. Oh my goodness, this rainy, cooler weather is so good. I love the low 70s. It's so perfect. I'm a big hiker, so the cooler weather is perfect. Okay, awesome, guys. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Kim. Hope you're well. All right, so I'm going to go over really briefly day one. So day one was all about just understanding the subconscious mind. So in case, I know a few of you did watch it, just going to go over it just in case. And I would still recommend going back and watching day one if you haven't already, but you can still watch this video right now if you did miss day one's video. So day one, we just talked about what exactly the subconscious mind even is. And we have two parts of the brain, conscious and subconscious. The conscious is the captain of the ship that runs the show and that gives the commands to the subconscious. And the subconscious works hard to deliver it and make sure that it comes true. So in saying that, whatever you're repetitively saying, it's your subconscious mind is working to make it come true. Okay. So if you're constantly saying that you don't have any money, that you don't have any time, that you're never going to find love, whatever it may be, your subconscious mind is going to make sure that that rings true. And in fact, everything that's happened so far in your life up until this point has been created because of what you've thought over and over and over again. Even if most of it is very unconscious, it just becomes a pattern because our brains are like a toddler. Our brains love habit, they love patterns, they love repetition. And so if you leave your brain alone to just run free, it's like leaving your 2-year-old outside all by itself with no supervision, living up against a busy road. Okay, so you want to really begin to become aware of your mind and the patterns and the habits and the words that you continue to use over and over again. And you can really begin to decipher the difference on how you're feeling. Because getting obsessed with how we're thinking almost makes the thinking even more negative because you just are so attached to it. But when you instead just simply focus on feeling your absolute best, you know that when you're feeling good, you're thinking good, right? And feeling is the language of the subconscious mind. So in fact, I would more so be obsessed with feeling your absolute best more than focus on what you're thinking about always. And the last 2 weeks of August and of this challenge, this free program, we're really going to be using different activities and modalities that's going to help to really like increase your elevated emotions, increase a positive mind, a positive subconscious. Okay, so again, like these first 2 weeks are just like, this whole week is just to get you to understand the subconscious mind and begin to really put your faith into it and believe in it. Week 2 is about the discomfort of it all, because you're breaking those neurons in your brain and creating new neurons. So it's very uncomfortable. It's growing pains. And then the last 2 weeks is all about how to use different modalities to elevate your emotions, elevate your thoughts and your feelings, and really call back that power. Okay. So today, and again, as always, if there's any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the comments below, or please feel free to send me a private message. So today we're going to talk about the proof of mental healings. So I just like, when I got into this type of work and really understanding the subconscious mind for myself and then helping my clients to understand it, I felt that the desire to really dedicate your time to this and to really go all in with this was to hear about the proof of this, that it's all about the power of your mind and the ability that, and the power that we have to heal ourselves and to change our entire life and create anything that we desire. The more that we hear about people actually doing this, the more excited we get, the more invested that we get, right? This isn't like a 1 foot in and 1 foot out kind of thing. This is like all in. Like, I'm ready to change my motherfucking life. Like, I'm ready to go all the way in. Just like, no messing around, right? So if you're 1 foot out and 1 foot in, that means you're kind of like, you're like, yeah, I'm going to play with this, I'm going to dabble with this, but I'm not fully believing it. But you have to believe it. You really, really do. And this is what we got to get you into this whole first week, is just believing this. All right. So, and before I continue, I just want to make this very clear, because I'm going to talk a little bit about, like miracles and different healings, and even like about Jesus and the Bible and Buddha and all this stuff. And I just want to make it really clear, I am in no way discrediting anybody's religion or anybody's like ascended master that you may believe in. I believe in like all of the ascended masters. I don't have a religion, honestly. I believe in all of the religions. I believe there's truth in all of it. I believe in love. I believe in unity, that kind of thing. So please don't think that I'm like tearing anything down. I am not. This is just my own kind of personal opinion, especially with the subconscious mind. Okay. So there have been many healings throughout our time, and going back to ancient times as well. And these are mainly expressed as miracles. And I do believe it to be a miracle, because to literally take the unconscious habitual patterns and programs of our brain and be able to surrender that completely and choose a higher elevated emotion, thought, belief, and to allow that to be stronger than your current state of reality, that 100% to me is a miracle. Especially, let's think about how, especially in ancient times, they weren't talking about a subconscious mind, right? Like they didn't have these teachings. I mean, not that I know of, but they were able to overcome their current reality with an elevated emotion. And that 100% is a miracle, because how many people do we know in our life that they just can't seem to be helped, right? Like the glass is always half empty. They never have enough money. They never have enough time. It's always woe is me, right? Like how many people do we know like that? Like, give me a 1 or something like that in the comments if you know somebody who's like that. It's hard. It's very hard to overcome an unconscious habitual mind. And so when people are able to do that, it's 100% a miracle. So all of you choosing to step into this power, you are choosing you are choosing a miracle. Yeah, we definitely know people like that. Yeah. You're choosing to take part in your own miracle of your life. So even though it's a miracle, right, there's still an explanation for them. Okay. What happens here is this. So let's talk about it as like a really sick person, right? Like we hear, and honestly, I'm not that well versed in the Bible, but like I know that there is like many times that Jesus would like heal the blind or heal the lepers, things like that, right? So let's talk about that for a moment, of a person just being so sick and like in so much of the darkness of their sickness that really the only other thing that they could possibly grasp onto is the belief in the healer, the person performing the healing. They have that belief in it, which elevates the emotion, and then that is what takes over their darker state. Okay, and this is why sometimes, a lot of times, people come to me to join my membership or to work with me one-on-one, and they're just in a really, really dark place, and they're just like, Lauren, how could you possibly help me? I think I'm a lost cause. I feel like you're my last resort. What can I do? And I'm always like, honestly, the person who is in the deepest darkness is the person who it can experience that light at a more rapid pace, because light cannot shine without the dark, right? So sometimes that emotion can be so heavy that you literally just surrender it all. Like, help me, like, please, I'm willing to do anything. That the elevated emotion just comes sweeping in, and it's just able to completely knock out that lower vibration, and people experience that healing, that miracle. Okay. So again, going further into the Bible, Jesus says this over and over within the Bible. According to your faith is it done unto you. So again, like this miracle, this subconscious mind, this creating and having and being anything that you want in your life, it comes with faith. You have to have faith for it to come. Again, it's like that whole thing of like 1 foot in and one foot out. You have to have both feet in. You have to be a whole body yes. I am all in for this. And, let's talk about a garden for an example, right? So we plant our gardens. I know a lot of people planted gardens this year, which is like a beautiful gift from quarantine, right? That so many of us like learned what it feels like to get your hands in the dirt and grow your own food. I know I'm one of them. And the thing is, so when you go to the store and you buy your seeds, and then you come home and you get the soil all ready and you plant your seeds, what is that emotion that you have, knowing that your vegetables are going to grow? It's faith. You know that with the proper nutrients and nourishment, the sunlight, the water, the soil, you have the faith knowing that it's going to grow into your vegetable. If you didn't have faith, you'd constantly be going outside, digging up your seed, checking on it to see if it began to take root, and then putting it back in the dirt. But that would kill the seed. It would never grow because you didn't have the faith in it. You kept questioning it. You kept digging it up. Okay? And in saying that, you don't enjoy your vegetables and fruit the same day that you plant the seed. It takes time. It takes faith. It takes showing up and providing the proper nourishment to it. Meaning, with the subconscious mind, you plant the seed of your desire. You nourish it every day with the things that keep your emotions elevated, like meditation, prayer, dance, gratitude, abundance practices, all the things that we're going to go through in the last 2 weeks of this program. You know that it's going to come into fruition. You know it's going to be made manifest by keeping the faith. You don't constantly, well, you might, but you don't want to wake up every morning and be like, oh, nope, still not here. I still don't have it. This is all bullshit. No, like you constantly put your faith into it. You know that it's coming to you. Each day that you choose to feel better and better and better, you know that it's coming to you quicker, quicker, quicker. The momentum begins to pick up, right? And you can even begin to see and begin to reap those rewards, because you're going to start to feel that like more synchronicities come into play. Things seem to just go quicker. Things are just kind of falling into place for you. You see it all happening, much like that seed really growing. You start to see the greens popping up. You start to get excited. You're like, oh my goodness, it's growing. It's here. It's happening. Same thing with the subconscious mind, having that faith each and every day. Faith is a way of thinking. It's an attitude and believing in the power of your subconscious mind. So yesterday, remember I asked you, you had to declare that you believe in the power of your subconscious mind. Declare it again. Say it with me. Anything and everything is capable through the power of my subconscious mind. So let's talk about now like the various shrines that exist all over the world, right? There's many shrines, and even have you guys watched that Down to Earth documentary yet by Zac Efron? It's so good. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Praise the Lord for Zac Efron, right? He is beautiful, he is sober, and he's all about saving the earth and self-expansion. But even in one of the episodes, he joins this massive prayer march, and he just talks about, he's like, I don't know if this is real or if it's all in my mind, but he felt the power. He felt that faith, right? Kim, you're into Zac Efron? Yes. So what happens here, because you have that faith in what's happening, you have the faith in the prayer, you have the faith in visiting that shrine, you have the faith in that healer, the person who's conducting like the healings, and when you come together, obviously with more people, the more that elevation grows. That's why doing like these group programs is so fun, or being in my membership is so fun, because you get to experience this as a whole, as a group. So what happens here too is as soon as you fully believe that you will be healed, or that your desires will be made manifest, no matter what, as soon as you're just like, no matter what, this is coming, no matter what, this is going to happen, no matter what, I have full faith in this, that it will be delivered to me. The elevated emotion is much stronger than any of the other emotions that you've had, of like the lack of, or the sickness, or not finding your soulmate, whatever it may be. The moment that you invest all of your awareness and your energy into that faith that it is coming, it drowns out that heavier negative emotion, okay? And it's okay, and I'm not saying, again, like yesterday I talked about how this is not spiritual bypassing by any means. When those heavier emotions come up, there's going to be things that I teach you to help work through it, because they come up in order to be released. They come up to be worked through, because emotions are energy in motion. And the majority of time, the reason they get stuck in the body is because we try to bury them down. We try to push them down and pretend they're not there, which they're never allowed to move through the body through completion. Like if you allowed it to really just completely flow through, feel it all, allow all that darkness to be there until it was done, until it could finally be purged from your body, it's going to stay in the body, and it's going to grow louder and louder and louder, and it's going to show up in different ways. And much like that subconscious mind being the one that's like creating the reality, it's also always been a security blanket for you too. It's like a trap door. Okay, so anytime something negative, hurtful, harmful has been said to you, done to you, or you witness just by yourself, like these emotions kind of got swept under this trap door. It's a great mechanism to help keep you safe. I don't know how many of you have ever experienced any sort of traumas in your life from childhood. I know my parents divorced, and I was very young, and it was a very traumatic experience for me. And I don't remember a lot of it. A lot of it is so blacked out for me. But I do know that now in my marriage, now that I'm an adult and I'm married and I have children, a lot of those like behaviors from like my parents, my stepmom, all of this kind of like comes to the surface, and I'm able to really look at it and be like, wow, where the hell did that come from? But it needs to be worked through to completion. Okay. Also, a lot of times if you are experiencing an elevated emotion or looking to have more fun, more joy in your life, feel better about your body, whatever it may be, those thought patterns that you had, or the traumas or whatever happened that was pushed under that subconscious mind, that trapdoor kind of begins to open. And it's just like, wait a minute, but this happened, or you said this, or this was said to you. So we have to work through it, okay? You have to allow it to be there. This is a healing process for sure. But the more that you invest your time and love into this, the better it is. I promise. I promise. It is one of those things that is it's always flowing. It's always going. I don't think that there's ever an end game with this. Even like reaching this whole idea of full enlightenment, I still think that you go through lots of healing processes, and maybe you can heal so much of like your current life that then things from past lives, if you believe in that, will begin to show up for you, you know? So just stick with this whole process, and I promise you that you're gonna understand how to really begin to work through all of it. And again, like this is something that's really offered in my membership and something that's really offered one-on-one if you do need more support with it. So I'm just looking over my notes. The healing power is in the subconscious mind of every person. And a changed mental attitude releases this healing power. A person doesn't heal another person, okay? And I'm going to say this, and I'm somebody who, I call myself an energy healer. I'm a Reiki master. I do breath work. I do meditation. I do EFT tapping, all of this amazing stuff, right? I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist. And still, I know without a doubt, I do not heal another person. Nobody does, okay? But what it is, you heal yourself. Your subconscious mind is what's turned on, stimulated, and works through the healing process. It's the belief, though, in another person to be able to help you heal that helps to open up that subconscious mind, that helps you to look towards that elevated emotion to help you drown out the heavier emotion. All right. So there's faith in the healer from the receiver that turns on the healing powers. It's this whole idea, you know, people, like I said, about like the whole darkness. We can get so dark, or we can just be so fed up with our own crap. We're just done with the cycles. We are just over it. We feel like we're drowning. We just want to break free. We want to get the hell out of this box, out of that matrix, out of this same old crap every single day, day in and day out. We just want out of it, right? So we tend to then look towards another to help guide us there. But what we're doing is like we're literally just releasing all that resistance, and we're opening up and trusting in the person to help guide us there. And that's what turns it on. Okay, so the long story short here, the proof of these mental healings is, again, just all proof into our own subconscious mind. You just have so much faith in the person that's leading you that anything becomes possible. It turns on your own power. All right, so I do want to just, before we wrap up now, one of my most favorite stories I've ever read about the power of the subconscious mind is from a surgeon, actually. And so this is one that I would like to share with you. So he's a Scottish surgeon. His name is Dr. James Daly. Honestly, I don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever. And he was a surgeon in the 1840s. So between 1843 and 1846, this was a time before anesthesia had yet to be used. And this surgeon performed over 400 major surgeries, varying from like removing cancers. I mean, he worked on eyes, he did amputations, all of that. These people were completely awake. And he was able to get them into a mental anesthesia through hypnosis, through elevated emotions, and through speaking to the power of the subconscious mind. Patients reportedly felt no pain, and there was no deaths in the surgery process, and very few post-surgery. And if somebody did pass away from post-surgery, it mostly was just from, like the cancer still being there, whatever it may be. Which a lot like today, a lot of deaths are from complications from surgery, from anesthesia, and from like sepsis and bacteria and all of that. And this is also before that there was any idea that there was bacteria or that it needed to be a really sterile environment. So isn't that really interesting that before there was anesthesia and before it was made known that there was bacteria and the importance of a sterile environment in surgery, that you could put somebody into a mental anesthesia, or that there was no complications from sepsis or infection, right? Because people didn't believe in it. There was no belief in it. It was just faith in that this would work. But now that we have all these advancements, it's now been like programmed into us that if there's not anesthesia, you're going to feel a lot of pain. And that if it's not sterile, there's going to be infections, and that there's going to be complications, and that you might not wake up from surgery, whatever it may be, right? But isn't it so interesting that whatever the belief is that we constantly go over and over and over in our heads, what's been hammered into us, crammed into our brains, is what we then create as our reality. But it's interesting to think that if none of this was ever developed or discovered, that this would be how we'd still be operating today. And who knows what that would look like, right? So this whole idea of like the belief is just like a pattern that you keep thinking over and over and over again, that you can literally change it and create new patterns, new pathways, and new realities for you. Your subconscious mind can give you independence of time and space. It can help you be free of pain and suffering, and can give you the answer to all of your problems. And what I mean by that too is, so say you want to be extremely prosperous in life, and it's, what we've come to realize is that money is power, right? I mean, who do we see with all the power in this world? The richest people in this world, right? And it's coming out into the light right now of how much darkness is there. And so I think it's more important now than ever that people more of the light and living in love become very prosperous individuals so that we can create great change. Okay? So just like random statement from me, but if you are somebody who does desire to have a shit ton of money, I want you to release this idea that it's evil, because it's not, because we can create a lot of change with it. But so for example, you want to be so prosperous, but you really don't know how that's going to happen. You don't really have to know the how. It's just choosing to align up with your abundance and prosperity now, and choose to live in those elevated emotions of it, and trust that the ideas and the opportunities will be delivered to you. Like, you'll just randomly have this thought to go on social media and make a post or reach out to a random person, or it'll be like all of a sudden you want a Slurpee from 7-Eleven. So you go there and you run into somebody who can guide you even further onto your mission, right? So it's all about the faith. It really is. And there is so much proof out there. I only touched like the tip of the iceberg. But if you are completely ready to turn your life around, to live in health and in joy and in abundance, prosperity, freedom with your soulmate and complete unconditional love, keep investing your faith into this. All right. So just like your homework is yesterday, it's going to be the very same today. Just be aware of how you're feeling and what you're thinking. And again, without any sort of judgments on yourself, just love yourself through this entire process, okay? And when you are feeling negative, when you are feeling heavy, how quickly can you come back into your heart? How quickly can you just call that power back in and choose to feel better in your body? Choose to just go and play or get out, get outside, go ride your bike. I love to rollerblade. I love to put on music and dance. Can you just take some deep breaths? Can you bring yourself more into an elevated emotion? And watch, as the more you do this, the easier it is to be in this elevated emotion. And also the more frequent that the heavier emotions tend to pop up is when you are kind of doing mundane tasks. Because remember, the brain is the toddler in this, and what do toddlers do when they're bored, right? They're getting into trouble. They're getting into mischief. And that's what your brain's doing as well. Your brain's like, oh my God, I'm so bored. I got nothing to do. And so it wants to pull at different emotions to give it something to do. And it pulls at different thoughts and memories. And the way that our brain is naturally programmed up until now, because we're learning how to reprogram it, is to call on those negative the negative memories, because they have a stronger emotion to it, right? So like, for example, if you're washing dishes and you're just standing at your sink and you're just washing the dishes, you're bored, right? Like, you've done it a million times. Well, all of a sudden you start thinking about what so-and-so said to you last week or even last year, or even 10 years ago, and you go ahead and you replay that whole thing in your brain, and then your body, the cortisol begins pumping through, and your body goes into fight or flight, and all of a sudden your body is reacting as if it was happening right now. So pay extra close attention when you are doing those mundane tasks. You're cleaning your house. Instead, can you just express gratitude for a home to clean and for all the things that you have in your home to clean? When you're washing the dishes, can you just smell the soap and be one with that warm water? Washing dishes can be very meditative as long as you choose to be present with that. And just try to be in those elevated emotions as much as possible. When the heavier ones come up, how can you allow them to kind of be worked through? How can you feel it and then work to feel better by opening your heart more, taking the deeper breaths, moving your body, whatever it is that feels good. Like Jen, I know you are all about those essential oils. What can you do to elevate your emotions with your essential oils, right? So just keep that faith. Instill the faith, know that everything is possible with the power of your subconscious mind, and let's keep this momentum building. Okay? So any questions, please drop them below. Let me know if you're confused about anything I talked about today. And as always, I'm going to go ahead and just drop it below how to get in contact with me to schedule a 20-minute connection call to see if we would work good together one-on-one or in my membership program. I am currently launching. I have 10 spots. One got taken yesterday, so I have 9 spots available to start in September for us to work together in my Call Back Your Power program that's just going really deep within this work together. So those will also be below. Yeah, high frequency oils to help raise your vibration. Yes, yes, yes. So good. Frankincense is that for me. I love frankincense. So tomorrow I will be on at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about just different types of what did I write here? Different types of mental healings, just to kind of give you a rundown of what we're going to be jumping into. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your day, and I hope you can get outside, connect with Mother Earth, and have fun with your faith. I'll see you guys tomorrow.